Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Playoffs, we're ready. We're ready to get this money. Wild card round picks coming up. Let's do the games in order. Thank you to everyone. I will be posting soccer bets. Link in the description. Follow that channel. First game, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. Hawks are plus 10. I got the 49ers to win in the cover. 10 is an awful lot in this league. We know that is a gigantic chunk of points. But I'm just going to go with the 49ers. I think they do better fundamental football. When I look at this game, Jordan Brooks out for the Seahawks. That run defense is already bottom 5 in the league. I mean, that's the last team you want to see coming in, McCaffrey and that massive old line of the 49ers. I think they pound the living hell out of that Seattle front 7. And when I'm looking at this game, we can look at Purdy. Maybe a Purdy choke is coming. Maybe the defense coordinators in this league have figured him out. I would bet that in the later rounds, but I would not bet that Seattle has the dogs on defense to truly pull that off. Now, we look at Seattle's offense, and it looks like Lockett will play, and we know he's the lifeblood of that offense. It's just, what has Geno really done the last 6-7 weeks of the season? Can their offensive line hold up against the best defensive line in football? I really feel like the 49ers have the best front 7 in football. I just don't think they can hold up. I don't think the Hawks get the run game going. We know the Hawks are dangerous on offense if they can run the ball. I'm just not seeing how they do it. I'm not seeing how they move the ball consistently. I think they can get to 17. I could see it, man. But I just think the 49ers can get to the 30s here. 49ers winning the cover, not betting it because it's way too much. Next game, we got the Los Angeles Chargers, Herbert, at the Jacksonville Jags. Chargers are -1. Money, money, money. Money. Chargers to win in the cover. Make it a money pick. Listen, if you do bet this game, if you do bet the Chargers, you will be sweating. And I think this is the game for us, the hardcore football fans who like film. This is the game I'm looking forward to most on WILDCARD weekend, Saturday night, 8:30. Okay, we love the Jags. They've won us so much money this year. Lawrence, we've loved watching him progress. We called it when everyone else was burying him. But we have to know when to get off the bandwagon like we did when they played Detroit. I just don't like this matchup for the Jags. This Chargers defense, we know how bad they were stopping the run the first 10 weeks of the year, but it seems like they found a good formula on defense now. The Bosa brother is back. Him and Khalil Mack, I think, can tear up this Jags offensive line. Now, I am a little bit worried about Brandon Staley. You saw him got Mike Williams hurt in a meaningless game that meant absolutely nothing last week. I was so mad about that, but that doesn't change the analysis. He'll be out there. And I want to remind people, Matt Ryan put up 400 passing yards against the Jacksonville Jags, and you know it was fun watching them beat the Jets. That was beautiful, but the Chargers can actually throw the ball, and I think the Chargers are getting to another gear. They started playing better ball at the right time of the year. I think the Jags can run it, but I don't think they're going to pound the Chargers into oblivion. I think the Chargers throw the ball better, and I do think the Jags have some issues, and it's not about Lawrence. It's about this Jags team just not being ready for prime time. That Titans game was ugly. I don't want to hold it against them, but come on now. They should have beat the Titans by 14 to 17 points. Chargers winning the cover, making a damn money pick. Only thing I'm worried about is Staley versus Peterson. I trust Peterson more. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Dolphins are plus 11. Dolphins cover, Bills to win. Does anyone know what to do with this game? I mean, because are we getting Skylar Thompson? Are we getting Theodore Bridgewater? Are we getting Tua? If we're getting Tua, we know the spread's going to drop, but I do think it hangs high. I just think Miami keeps it close. Buffalo's not good with covering spreads, and I got to tell you, man, you know, we all talked about the emotional impact of that Hamlin injury, but let's talk about the football aspect of it. I mean, now the Bills are on the third-string safety. Poyer is banged up. Mac Jones was moving the ball at will during Week 18 against them. I am concerned about this Bills defense, and I am assuming Theodore starts, and he's not good. He covers spreads, whatever. I'm not a trend better, so I'm not going to go into those stats. I think he's 20-4 on the road as an underdog in spreads. But what I am telling you is when you're having secondary issues, when you're having trouble covering, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are the last guys you want to see. I think the Dolphins come in with a late cover here. Bills they just don't finish the business, and that's what it is about. I'll tell you what, though. If Tua comes out and plays this game, we're going to need to do another video later in the week because that changes absolutely everything. Dolphins cover the massive 11. Bills win the damn game. Next game, we got the New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are minus 2.5. Money, money, money. Money, Vikings to win in the cover. I mean, listen, the Vikings have had some really bad performances against the spread this year, but they still have a damn good record. They still have way better playmakers than the Giants, and I think it comes down to that. Now let's back up. I'll tell you the reason why I'm worried about the Minnesota Vikings. What do we think the Giants defense does? Man-to-man, and they blitz a lot. Luckily for the Vikings, no one can cover in the Giants secondary. But a thing that hurts the Vikings is Kirk Cousins. We know he's not good against the blitz. But I think the Vikings will have a plan. Brian O'Neill, the good right tackle, he'll be out in this game. Elise Kirk will have Darisaw on his blind side. I think we see the Vikings run game get going. And we know the Vikings have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. That's something that we've been saying all year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Fire Ed Donatel. But with that being said, I love what Daniel Jones did this year, but I think it's more about Dable. I think it's more about scheme. I don't think this Giants team is all that good, man. And I think what Dable did deserves Coach of the Year honors. He's not going to get it, but we got to have some perspective here. And when you get to the playoffs, yes, you have to look at what team reacts to pressure better. I would say the Vikings do it pretty damn well. What team has the dogs to make the game spin on its edge and completely unravel? The Vikings have the playmakers. The Vikings got better dogs than the Giants. I don't want to overthink this. I am nervous about Dayball. No matter what circumstance, how many players were injured, how many offensive linemen were out, this Giants offense moved the ball. They moved it consistently, but there is a limit to Daniel Jones, and I'm sure I'm going to get 1,000 comments about Kirk Cousins, Kirk in the playoffs, Kirk in primetime, Kirk against the blitz, but we have to take a long look and understand he's playing Daniel Jones at home with everything on the line. I think the last time the Vikings played him, the Vikings won by 2. Vikings cover this damn spread. Vikings to win in the cover, make it a money pick. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are minus 6.5. Money, money, money. Money, listen closely. Don't misinterpret me. Listen closely here. If Lamar Jackson doesn't start, I don't think Lamar's coming back. I mean, we heard this injury was 3 or 4 weeks. He's been out, 5, 6 weeks at this point. I just don't see him coming back. But so let's plan on Huntley, or it looks like Anthony Thomas is probably going to play. Huntley was on the injured list with 2 injuries. I just think the Bengals dominate them, man. And we know Joe Burrow, he struggles against the Ravens. It's been like a 2-3 year thing. They play too high. Joe has a few problems with that. They can't get the deep ball. But one thing I've seen out of this Bengals offense, they've matured. I'll tell you 2 ways they've matured this year. Firstly, the run game's better. Kappa is banged up. I believe he'll play. The run game has been a lot better than it was earlier in the season. That gives them play action. That gives them balance. Secondly, we've seen the Bengals better with the checkdowns as the year goes on. And when a team's sitting in too high shell, that's what you have to do. I think it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. I'm not sure the Ravens offense can generate over 13, 17 points. 17 points would be a good day at the office for Huntley or Brown. And when I'm looking at this game, I just think the Bengals are the hottest team in this league. And we didn't get to see how that Bills game played out, but I stick by my stance. Bengals would have won that damn game. I bet it before, and who would bet against them after seeing how that game played out? Give me the Bengals to win in the cover, make it a damn money pick, but it's a money pick with conditions. Next game, Monday Night Football. We got the Dallas Cowboys, them boys, at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucs are +3 on some books. It's +2.5. Money, money, money. Money. Not a lot of science. I'm not going big on this game. Excuse me. Not a lot of science. Bucs to win in the cover. And I went back and forth on this game for 3 weeks. I felt like the playoff bracket would play out this way. So let's go from the beginning. Can you bet against Tom Brady here? And I don't like these arguments, but they've been rather effective this year. I don't like the direction the Cowboys are going, and we can look at that Commanders game and we can talk about that, but there were other games to finish this season that were extremely worrying to me. What has gone on with this Cowboys defense? Like, look at their performance against the Packers. Look at their performance against the Jags. Can we trust this defense? One reason why I liked Dallas so much earlier in the year was because their pass rush was ridiculous. Their defense was getting turnovers. It just doesn't seem like they're doing a lot. And a joker card with red hair is coming into play for the Bucs. Ryan Jensen has a chance to be back. And just to remind you, that's one of the best interior linemen this league has at this moment. And he's been out all year. And when I look at this game, you got to think we're going to see a response out of the Buccaneers defense. I mean, I know CeeDee Lamb in the slot will be very, very difficult. That's the Bucs' weakness on defense. Maybe they put Winfield out there instead of their nickel cornerback. I would suggest that. But I do think this Bucs defense comes in with a little bit more attitude, a little bit more verb, and I'm not so sure the Cowboys can run the ball. And we look at Dak Prescott, he just hasn't been good this year. Like, can we be honest about it? Can we be honest about it? He's been horrible this year. And I hear so many people sucking up to him, and I just don't get it. I just don't comprehend it. And with that game against the Commanders, if you're a Cowboys fan, you should be shaking going into this. And when you look at Mike McCarthy's double-chinned ass on the sideline, you get a little bit worried. I know Todd Bowles' staff has been one of the worst coaching staffs in the league, but doesn't it feel like the pressure is building for the Cowboys? Doesn't it feel like the pulse is pulsated maybe a little bit too much? Don't you feel like there's an opportunity they press in this game? I know the Buccaneers aren't a good team. I know they aren't. But this isn't the same Cowboys team from week 5, week 6. I mean, it just isn't. It's not the same defense. They don't have the same morale. And if they can't run the ball, I don't see how they beat Brady. And I'm not saying the Bucs are magically going to find a run game. And I am worried about Micah Parsons against the right tackle. The Buccaneers, one of the worst in the league. I am really worried about that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think Brady makes more plays than Dak. And I've been cautious I've been cautiously encouraged what I've seen from the Bucs the last 3 weeks. More shots down the field, a little bit better protection. Run game hasn't improved. Give me the Bucs +3, winning the cover, making a money pick. Wild card weekend. I love you guys. Thanks for following me this year. Let's have a massive playoffs this year. I am feeling something good brewing.